Stop right there.
Excuse me?
We got a call. Open the bag.
On what grounds? I want to know who made that call.
Why do you people always have to make this difficult?
What did you just say?
I said open the bag.
You have no idea who you're talking to. You're going to regret this.
Mom?
Stop right there. Excuse me, we got a call. Open the bag. On what grounds? I want to know who made that call. Why do you people always have to make this difficult? What did you just say? I said open the bag. You have no idea who you are talking to. You will regret this. Music 2 county sheriffs stopped a white American woman outside a grocery store on a Tuesday afternoon. She had just paid for everything in her bags. Her daughters were beside her. The sheriffs told her they had received a call and needed to search her groceries right there on the pavement in front of whoever was watching. What they did not know was that she had spent 22 years in law enforcement, that she had been sworn in as police chief of that same county 4 days earlier, and that before the week was out, what they did in that parking lot would follow them for the rest of their careers. If you are ready to see institutional racism taken down, like this video and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button right now because you won't want to miss tomorrow's story of cops messing with the wrong people and finding out. Let me know if you enjoyed the story. Let's continue. The automatic doors slid shut behind her. Anna Sandon stepped out into the late afternoon with a grocery bag in each hand and her daughters at her sides. The younger one was already pulling ahead toward a dog tied to a post near the entrance. The older one matched her mother's pace. The car was 30 feet away. She had taken 6 steps when she heard it. Not a shout, not an alarm, but the measured, now in deliberate voice of someone who has already made a decision before the mouth opens. Ma'am, right there. Stop where you are. 2 men in county sheriff's uniforms were moving toward her from the left side of the entrance. Their patrol car was angled in a way that was not consistent with passing through. Rockage reached her first. He placed himself in her path and told her he had reason to believe she had left the store with merchandise she had not paid for. Anna stopped walking. She shifted both bags into one hand and placed the other on her younger daughter's shoulder, drawing the child back beside her. The younger girl looked up briefly, then looked back at the dog. The older daughter had gone still. She was 9 years old, and she understood what 2 uniformed men blocking your mother on a pavement meant. Dominic moved to Anna's right. The 2 men formed a loose bracket around her and the girls, not aggressive, but positioned. The concrete apron in front of the store was wide and open, visible from the parking lot, visible through the floor-to-ceiling windows to anyone still inside. A man 2 rows back had stopped loading his car. A couple coming out through the automatic doors read the scene and slowed. The dog near the post looked up, then lost interest. Dominic told her this was routine. He asked her to open the bags for inspection. Anna asked who had authorized the search. She asked what the legal basis was. Rockage told her they had received a call. When she did not move, he said it again. They had received a call. She looked at him. Then she set both grocery bags down on the concrete, upright, carefully. She reached into her jacket and removed her identification. She held it open at chest height, steady, angled so both men could read it without moving closer. She gave them time. She did not speak while they read. The badge identified her as Anna Sandon, chief of police, county jurisdiction, different agency, same county, a peer department to the sheriff's office, not above it in the chain of command, but not beneath it either. In 22 years of service, she had worked alongside sheriff's deputies on joint operations, task forces, and cross-agency investigations more times than she could count. She knew exactly what the badge meant in this context. So did anyone in law enforcement who looked at it for more than 3 seconds. Rockage looked at it for longer than 3 seconds. His weight shifted back onto his heels, his jaw closed. His eyes moved from the badge to Dominic, then back to the badge. Dominic said nothing. Whatever he had expected to find at the end of this stop, it was not this. Anna told them her name. She told them she was the chief of police for this county, sworn in the previous Monday. She told them she had spent over 2 decades working alongside sheriff's departments across 3 counties, and that she was familiar with the procedures governing a stop of this nature. She told them she would like to know clearly and on the record what the call had described. She asked them for their badge numbers. The man 2 rows back had set down both his bags on the tarmac. 2 employees had appeared behind the floor-to-ceiling glass inside the store. Anna closed the badge wallet and returned it to her jacket. She picked up both grocery bags and waited. Not Dominic spoke. He called her chief. He got that part right. The rest of the sentence undid it. Regardless of her position, he said, a call had been logged with the department. Procedure required them to complete the inquiry. He was asking her respectfully to allow them to check the contents of the bags. The man in the parking lot said something under his breath. His wife took out her phone. Anna looked at Dominic. She looked at Rockage. She looked down at her older daughter, who was standing completely still, watching with an expression that had no name at 9 years old, but would have one later. Then she looked back at both men. Fine, she told them. I will show you what I purchased, and when I am done, I am going to ask you one question. I need you to think carefully before you answer. She crouched and began removing items from the bags, setting them one at a time on the low concrete ledge running along the storefront wall. Flour in a paper bag, butter, 2 packs of sugar, a carton of eggs, a bottle of vanilla extract. Then the last item, a small cellophane packet pressed flat from the bottom of the bag. 12 birthday candles, pink, because that was what her daughter had asked for. She set them on the ledge. She stood up. She placed the empty bags to one side. She looked at both officers and said nothing. The candles sat on the concrete between them. Neither man spoke. Flour, butter, 2 packs of cane sugar, a half-dozen eggs, 1 bottle of vanilla extract, 12 birthday candles, pink, unchosen from a catalog 3 weeks ago by a 7-year-old who would turn 8 in less than 4 hours. That was everything on the ledge. Anna told them she had purchased every item at the register in the far left checkout lane. She had been a customer at this location for 2 years. She produced the receipt without being asked, unfolded it, and held it toward Rockage. She told them her daughter's birthday dinner was already at home, that the cake was the last thing left to make, and that she was still standing on this pavement. She asked whether they had what they needed. Rockage looked at the ledge. Something had gone out of his posture. Not guilt yet, but the deflation of a man who has realized the ground has changed and has not yet decided what to do about it. He did not speak. Dominic did. He told her, without meeting her eyes, that the call they received had described a suspect. He did not say how. He said the call was credible. He said protocol did not allow for exceptions when a complaint had been formally logged. He said he regretted any inconvenience. He asked if she had the receipt. She held it toward him. He took it. He read it. He held it slightly longer than reading required, then handed it back. Anna folded it and returned it to the bag. Then she asked the question. No elevation in the voice. No performance. 1 word at a time in the order they needed to come. Who made the call? What did they report? And what was the description of the suspect they were given? Dominic looked at Rockage. Rockage was looking at the ledge. Neither man answered. She asked again. Same words, same pace. Rockage and Dominic had the receipt. They had seen the badge. They knew exactly who was standing in front of them, and they still had not answered a single question she asked. What do you think happened next? Did they come clean, or did they stay silent and hope she would let it go? Drop C for came clean or S for stayed silent in the comments. And if this story needs to be seen, share it now. Someone you know has been waiting for this one. The automatic doors opened. A man in his mid-50s stepped out. Company vest, name lanyard, clipboard at his side. He had been at the edge of the glass for several minutes, long enough to understand what was unfolding, long enough to weigh what it would cost him to stay inside. He had made his calculation. He stopped a few feet from the group. He looked at the items on the ledge. He looked at Anna. He looked at the 2 deputies. Then he told Anna directly. He was the one who had made the call. Anna turned to face him and asked what he had reported. The manager put the clipboard under his arm. He told her a bottle of whiskey had been taken from the spirits aisle approximately 40 minutes before Anna arrived at the store. He had called it in and described the suspect to the dispatcher as a white male, approximately 30 years old, wearing a red cap and a gray jacket, last seen near the back of the store by the freezer section. Then he said he wanted it clearly understood. He had not described a white American woman. He had not described a woman at all. He had not described anyone with children. The only time race was mentioned in his call was to say the suspect was white. He said he was sorry this had happened outside his store. The woman with the phone 2 rows back had stopped moving entirely. Anna turned back to Rockage and Dominic. She said nothing for 4 seconds, not for effect. Because 4 seconds of silence between a police chief and 2 sheriff's deputies on a public pavement with witnesses present and a phone recording in progress is not atmosphere. It is record. Then she began placing the items back into the bag one at a time. No urgency. Flour first, then butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla. While she did this, she spoke level, no heat in the voice, the tone she used when reading findings into a formal record. The call was real, she said. The manager made it. The description was specific. White male, red cap, gray jacket, freezer section. I am a white American woman with 2 daughters and a bag of baking ingredients, stopped 6 paces from the exit. No part of that description matched me. No part of that call authorized this stop. She placed the birthday candles in last. Then she told them what that meant. The call had given them a suspect. They had chosen a different one, and she would like them to think carefully. She used those exact words. About why. This was not a threat. It was not a reprimand. It was a question left open in the air of a public parking lot in front of 9 witnesses, 4 of whom were still recording. Dominic's mouth opened. It closed without a word. Rockage took 1 step back. Not deliberate, not a retreat, just what the body does when it absorbs something it was not prepared for. The manager had not moved from his position near the doors. Anna picked up both bags. She looked at her older daughter. The girl had watched all of it. The badge. The ledge. The receipt. The question asked twice. The manager walking out. Every word her mother had spoken in the same voice, at the same register, without once raising it. She had watched a woman be accused, identify herself, be accused again, and then take apart the accusation item by item using nothing but precision and patience. She was 9 years old. She would not forget a single moment of it. The parking lot did not empty quickly. People stayed, not gathered in a crowd, but present in the way people remain when they have witnessed something and feel, without articulating it, that their presence still counts. The man who had set down his bags was still there. The woman with the phone had lowered it but had not put it away. Anna moved her daughters to the car before anything else. And the younger one was buckled in and already drowsy, the birthday candles in her lap. The older one sat watching through the window. Anna walked back toward the entrance. She made 1 call, not to the sheriff's department. She had no authority over Rockage and Dominic. They answered to their own chain of command, their own elected sheriff. What she had was a badge, a record, witnesses, and 2 decades of experience in how these situations were properly handled. She called the county's Independent Civilian Review Board, the oversight body with jurisdiction over both the police department and the sheriff's office, and gave them what they needed in under 2 minutes. Incident time, location, the deputies' badge numbers, a summary of events. She told them the store manager was a cooperative witness. She told them there was body camera footage that needed to be preserved before the end of business. She told them there was phone footage from at least 3 members of the public. She ended the call. Rockage and Dominic were at the far edge of the lot. A senior deputy from their own department had arrived, summoned by their dispatch, not by Anna, and was now taking their account. He was writing in a notepad. He was not making eye contact with either man. Their words were being recorded by someone who would have to pass them up a chain of command that now knew exactly who they had stopped on that pavement. The incident report from Anna's department was filed the same evening. authored by a colleague she assigned specifically to maintain distance from the record. The county legal office had a copy the following morning. A local news station submitted a media inquiry to the sheriff's department within 48 hours. On the fourth day, a civil rights attorney filed notice of intent to pursue legal action on Anna's behalf. The lawsuit named Rockage and Dominic individually. It also named the county sheriff's department as an institution on the grounds that the stop was not an isolated misjudgment, but a foreseeable outcome of inadequately supervised conduct. The evidence was not complicated, and it was not thin. The original dispatch recording contained a description: white male, red cap, gray jacket, inconsistent with Anna or her daughters in every particular. Dominic's body camera had recorded the encounter from the moment they moved toward her through to the moment she walked to her car. 9 signed witness statements corroborated what the footage showed. 4 of those witnesses had independent recordings. The sheriff's department placed both deputies on unpaid administrative leave within 7 days. Their union representative requested a viewing of the body camera footage before advising them on next steps. He viewed it. The meeting that followed lasted less than 20 minutes. He told them their position was not one he could take to a hearing. The case did not go to trial. 11 weeks after the incident, a settlement was finalized. The sheriff's department, on behalf of the county, agreed to pay Anna $175,000 in damages. Institutional liability was not formally admitted. That language was negotiated out during settlement discussions. But the protection of non-admission was explicitly not extended to Rockage and Dominic as individuals. Each man was found personally liable for civil rights violations under federal statute. Rockage was ordered to pay $22,000. Dominic, whose decision to continue the search demand after Anna produced her identification and identified herself as a senior law enforcement officer made his conduct the more deliberate of the two, was ordered to pay $38,000. Both men were formally separated from the sheriff's department on the same morning. Their commissions were revoked. Their badges were surrendered in the same building, processed by the same administrative officer within the same hour. The officer did not look up from the paperwork. Anna was not in the building. Now she was across town in a conference room at the police department leading a cross-agency training session on stop-and-search protocols with officers from 3 departments, including a contingent from the county sheriff's office. The session ran 1 hour and 40 minutes. The attending officers rated it among the most practically useful training they had received. She did not mention the parking lot, not once. She did not need to. She had arrived home at 7:41 on the evening of the incident, still in the same clothes. Both bags went on the kitchen counter. She unpacked them in order: flour, butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla. The birthday candles she set on the counter separately, apart from the other items. Her older daughter came into the kitchen and asked if she was okay. Anna told her yes. She told her to wash her hands, so they made the cake together. The older daughter handled the measuring more precisely than the recipe required, the way she always did when something felt important. The mixing was shared. The oven did the rest. The kitchen warmed. The younger daughter stirred on the couch, pulled the blanket tighter, and went back to sleep. The cake came out at 9:14. They let it cool. They frosted it, Anna doing the base in steady, even strokes, her daughter doing the top in wide, uneven swirls that ran past the edges in 2 places. Anna said nothing about the edges. Then, the candles. All 12, pressed into the frosting in a rough circle, the same packet, the same pink, pulled from the same bag that had sat on a concrete ledge in a parking lot, while 2 men decided whether they were required to acknowledge who she was. Anna struck a match. She lit them one at a time, moving around the circle without hurrying. 12 small flames, steady in the still kitchen air. She called her younger daughter's name. The girl came in from the other room, still half asleep, and stopped in the doorway. She looked at the cake. She looked at her mother. She looked at the candles. Then she smiled. The full, uncomplicated smile of a child who has no idea what it costs to bring that cake home and does not need to. Anna watched her walk toward the table. The candles burned. That was enough. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story. Share this video with someone who would appreciate it, and let's keep building this community together. And before you go, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what stood out to you the most. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.